So Ellen did not introduce him to many leaders. Ellen was doing her thing on her own. She was traveling from country to country and kept a man in a garage for 12 years, according to Boyka himself.
Yeah, yeah.
That means he was not empowered to meet any leader. When the African leader themselves need support from the West.
Yeah.
All African leaders need support from the West.
Yeah.
No African leader will help another African leader with money for development.
Yeah.
In the West.
Yeah.
He does not have that contact.
So Liberia is in trouble. But I tell you this, I still repeat, if the president refuses to change, then the government is in trouble. The government, if you finish this government, let's thank God. Because as from next year, it's set to be fluctuating. And all the people that is in the government, they are liars. All of them. They don't know why they are there. They don't know what they are doing. They don't know the reason of staying in that system. They are just pushing the vehicle like this. They don't know where the vehicle, they don't know where it's going. So the forefathers of Liberia, they are in pains. It's very regrettable. Even the former president, Syphilis, is even regret having this person as a president. So that is just it. They believe that George Weah is too much for Liberia. That is the man who have brought total transformation to Liberia. That is a man who have turned Liberia to mini London or mini US. And he will have done it in second term. But they didn't understand. They are angry with him. They believe that he's against them. They believe that he doesn't like Liberians. That's what they believe. That's what they believe. You say Liberia will be zero in sports. Zero.
In sports?
Zero. Oh yeah, go to Nations Cup now. Go to Nations Cup. Let's see. Let me see you Nations Cup. Go to Nations Cup. I'll give $500,000. If you qualify for Nations Cup, I'll give your national team $500,000. I promise. Your national team, if they go,
The standards started trap for Brecker.
Okay.
Because when we have wrote, the Senate did a comprehensive report of their findings and attached the Supreme Court ruling and the amnesty law and everything. And the position statement for those commissioners who decided from Brecker to where. And said the way forward is a Panama House discussion for peace. Then when Brecker come now, he is deceived by coming there, by the Dillon there, Nombi there, and you know where he's just taking all kind of way Brecker, all kind of thing. He want to go after people. Then, you know, the CDC still control the lower house, the upper house.
Mm-hmm.
So they went, some kind of way, some kind of thing they did, but I think they did a resolution that passed. Because of money crossing.
Yeah.
Then they sent it to the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Then something happened, wow. All that they almost ran to Yombi house. Then they brought it that Tuesday morning. They didn't tell me they had it for me. Oh. Then when I heard what was happening, it was remain 2 persons to sign. That was me, that was Bani, Jim Bani. But when I went to Kyne, I said, what is going on? You were here when we had sent paper, and you were here with our own leadership, and we sent the report with all documents, legal documents, to guide we here. Then Brecker benefited from the 2010 decision by the Supreme Court to be involved in the election in 2011 because he was not wrong with them.
You're right.
He benefited.
You're right.
Then after serving as Barbara for 12 years now, he's now president now. We finished campaign for that kind of woman, then he wants to persecute us. He does going to persecute us. So what is going on with Kyne? Then Kyne said, well, what I will do for you is to help you with lawyer. Your part has go look for lawyer. It was from who offered my own son offered that I went and filed a resolution. I asked many senators why you did this. You know what they told me?
No.
Resolution is not a law. So starting the resolution, I mean, we agree. Bring it now. When Braga send a bill, they will not put all the law before now and back it.
Oh, okay. That was a smart move.
I said correct move. Yeah, correct move.
That's exactly what you are experiencing in Liberia now. If you don't know, in 2 years' time, Liberia will be worse. Will be one of the worstest country in the whole world. What I mean, worstest country in the whole world. If Liberia will not protest against this government, tell me there is no God. If Liberia will not begin to cry, coming together to cry, and we don't want to leave, resign, tell me there is no God. Never God again. I am proud of them. Right. The hardship, you have not seen that ship now. In 2 years' time, you will see the hardest hardship you have never experienced. Liberia will drink dirty water, and they will be thanking God for drinking. That is the kind of president you have. This president does not have anything. He doesn't have any template. He doesn't have any roadmap for the nation. They just force him there. It was rigged election. Rigged election. It was forced on you people. It was forced to be president. So, and the people who connive to do all of this and put him there, right? US.
You mean US, the United States?
United States. They are involved in this election. I am telling you, not politically, I am telling you spiritually what I foresaw. It was rigged. Totally rigged. And now they have seen it, that this person does not know anything. This person cannot help the nation. This person cannot put the nation right.
You know what happened is, whoever is supporting the removal of Funati, I don't want to know.
Okay.
But the thing is that if you got genuine reasons, which they say they have, let them go to their chamber, their own chamber.
Okay.
Let Funati sit down in front of them, resign, and then they read the charges to him. He will recuse himself.
Yes.
Recusing himself is not removing him.
Yes.
He got to face the investigation first.
Yes.
When he is investigated by the committee that will be set up, when he is guilty, then they will meet again in the chamber and take a vote to go in.
Yeah. The other guys who behind him, they are saying consistently. They say, as long as you bring a complaint and factual, and the complaint is factual against him, we're not saying by him, we all will take the vote. But let the man be given a fair trial. They'll give him opportunity to express himself. But they don't want to do it, but that is the issue, because some of them are even doing that thing. If the investigation is done, some of them will find out saying to it, some of them will find saying to it. We not know that the way some of us are in this country. Some of us will wish me and find out on a job where you know how much money is stolen. In store. That means
people are scared. They stole.
Yeah. So they don't want for their blood to be brought outside. So all they want. Yeah, Jeremiah Kune were there. We know how Jeremiah Kune got money here. So if they bring that thing out, all will be inside. So that whole fight down there, they're not sincere fight. That's what we've been saying. They're not sincere fight. So the issue is they may want to disgrace, or they may want to mayor for the people to look out back. They will see that they may disgrace, or they will be back. So that is the fight. But yeah, there you said, I mean, that the best he said, yeah, give the man a trial. Let the man go, the man will recuse himself. Then let the man be giving a trial. When the man investigate the man, you can't take the vote. The highest will be. And how they can remove senator, or they remove speaker. But you just get it, you go sit at the man place, say the man move. So that way for the Supreme Court.
Cannot work.
Yeah. So yesterday they went to the Supreme Court. Let's see the outcome of the Supreme Court. The Supreme
Court not anything different than following the rule of law.
Okay.
That's what Vanessa was doing then. I just see a school talking about politics. You can win the legal side, but we win politics. No. You must according due process.
Okay. All right.
Due process, transparency. Politics is a dirty game.
Okay. All right. But that the one they don't want to do. And you think when you do it, the mayor will resign too?
The mayor will resign. Then the condo will be on the statement. He cannot move the mayor. And then another thing is this. The deputy speaker does not induct a speaker into office. It is a chief clerk.
Oh, okay, all right.
But it is Thomas Farah who did it, so he's wrong.
So is the chief clerk that so had the election?
Yes, the chief clerk is supposed to have the election to induct the mayor, to induct Richard Kyne in office. He did not do it. So the deputy speaker who did it, which is wrong.
And the constitution does not call for that?
The constitution calls for the chief clerk.
Okay. All right.
Then, apart from that, to show you how God confused and confounded their minds and their thoughts and everything, Richard Kyne put his left hand up as he was taking the oath of office instead of the right hand.
So, because you know the team, but it was just the men were rushing back with it, just was doing the team quiz, so the guy get confused and just brought out to that place. Yeah. And the executive too need to be careful because the executive now that provides security now for Richard Kyne. And when they went there yesterday, they say they're not part of it. So the Justice Ministry and the Solicitor General say they're not part of it. Yeah.
So Barker has fired himself in the leg for political bullet.
Okay.
He caused confusion in the country. Already, no company coming. Nobody will come here. He does not know anybody around the world. No Western president, you know.
I'm telling you.
We go to China to go spend 13 billion to do all refinery. America will not agree.
Okay.
America will block it.
Now look at the issue about this scholarship. I mean, you are following the scholarship issue. Now the measure of they say they came back and they say that.
Liberia, like I said, is one of the best countries in the world, whether you believe it or not. You understand? Yeah, it's a small country. It's one of the best countries. You know, we are very good people. And then I think what we should strive for is for our country to survive. You know, and that's why we promote peace in our country. You know, for so many years we've been promoting peace. And people that brought war.
Right, so let me say what's up to all of you wherever you are. It's great joining us tonight right here on this very day, and we are grateful to the Almighty God that we are right here beaming with life and that of good health, and no matter what the circumstances are, we are certainly getting there. Today, folks, wherever you are, it's great joining us. It's post Sona. That means after Joseph Boakar's Sona, that's when we are here tonight on this day. But let me just try to announce to all of you that tonight is going to be a special edition. We're able to post, you know, and we who were the guys at Freedom, we thought to do what we would normally do, especially during the WIA era, to just come together again as friends and, of course, share some things and thoughts and so forth. So we thought to do it our way again. And I saw Oliver Khan and Austin Kawa and other for Abu Sharif and the rest of the other folks. Yeah, we'll try to join in as well as we'll be doing it from their respective locales. Because these times are difficult and challenging times. You are never short of security. So you can sit anywhere and do what you can do. That's technology at its best. And so I think for sure it's very good. I want to say thanks to all of you. But let me just announce to you people that before they can come on, before they can start getting in through technology, if technology will permit us, and to do what we can. Every one of you coming to class today, you see here now, you see in this class, the other flag here, the Grand Bazaar flag. And you see the flag here, the Grand Bazaar on the flag on the side. So the one on the side too, the Liberia on the flag. What we're trying to do here is that once you get flag, you can just put it behind yourself, you declare yourself. If Kun can be speaker, you just declare yourself to be speaker. Everyone else, you can declare yourself somebody. So me, I don't know what kind of tattoo I should give myself from Bazaar. But again, the Liberia flag will just be there. Just put it right behind you, declare yourself, you said. Then the next thing you should do, coming to this class tonight, these are basic requirements for the class going forward. Get 2 things, and of course, manage yourself and move on. Make sure you get your Get what? Get your flags. Put it behind you. Declare yourself that indeed you are somebody in your community. You can operate under that condition. Once you get people on your side and they are in majority and the people say, yeah, they want you like that, just declare yourself that you're somebody in your own right. So you'll see the 2 flags here and what I will be using now. So like I call myself Paramount Chief. I do whatever I want to do. Those are the stuff, right? Great, brilliant. All right, thank you. All right, so that's what we'll do. So just get it. Get it, what they call the next thing that you should come to class with. The next thing you should come to class with, I'm telling you now. Yeah, the next thing you should come to class with is this thing we call glass of water. Never forget to bring glass of water. Make sure that you travel with your glass of water. Different thing has been introduced now. Travel with your glass of water because the fainting, we're trying to find solution to fainting. You see, the fainting are happening first. We know we're not able to find solution now. We have decided to find anti-fainting solution. Now, anti-fainting solution calls for glass of water to be there. Then, as part of that, you don't just carry glass of water to the podium or when you want to plenty in the street. Don't do it like that. Carry a glass of water with you. As I can be talking long here like this. I got to carry a glass of water with me. It got to be there. Then you get a glass. Is that looking funny? You get a glass of water. Now you will know that you're coming thin. You got to get somebody on a standby to come in your ear and talk to you and tell you, say, you know that you're coming thin. So just try to drink, tell the people bye bye, you go by your business. So you see the glass of water that we have here. See the glass of water that we get. So that the technique there. You see, everything our president will do, will learn it. I didn't used to wear anything they call propo. Now we have brought propo business, so we get it now. Now, glass of water is very much important, right? So you see my flag then behind me like this, then plus my glass of water, anything else, they wouldn't tears. So anytime you don't want to faint, whatever it is to worry your people, what they call, make sure a student, make sure you bring your glass of water to class so that we can manage it. Yeah, we got to manage fainting. You know, sometimes you never know. It is something that can jump on people. So, and of course, God, very interesting. Today, a very interesting day. By the way, I'm just telling you what to do. That's what I brought my flag, one, to declare myself. Because, you know, a country where nobody respect any law, just declare yourself that you somebody. Forget it. Then you somebody already. So you see my flag then behind me, and I declare myself already. So whether you're lucky or not, you will declare me. So that it is so. The next thing I brought to class here is glass of water. Make sure you get it with you. Make sure you have the glass. Jesus Christ. They say about being bottled. Now bottle the water, the glass essay gets certain effect on it. You know, I used to see the people in a certain group. They used to be selling tin air around. They say they will sell to you the glass. Then when you put the water in the glass and you drink it, either your problems will be solved or something will be solved. Make sure that you carry your glass of water. You know the pastor and I got out to City Hall that time, that the special prayer they went for that time. They went for that prayer. That prayer that they had to City Hall to pray for Bwaka. They were having a breakfast service for him so that, in fact, some of them have vision. They said, Mr. President, you need that prayer. And as part of that prayer, we need to pray over special glass for you. That glass that why you should carry to the podium to go pray on top of when you want to call it, be drinking it. That glass of water, that the glass they pastor and pray over. Those City Hall pastor them. Those City Hall pastor and the glass they pray over. And it really help. You see, they really did well. So you did. The pastor and they really did well for him. They said, you see, if we're not to have that breakfast now, you're going to faint again. So that why you just need to be having it. So they really did well. So the glass. You also saw the glass, right? I leave my own glass that's small. You can call that one not glass of water, just a bucket of water, bucket glass. Just carry a bucket glass of water because the glass that I saw down there, it was very much. The real bucket or drum of water should be inside the something so that you can what they call that. What I saw down there. If I'm making a dog or something there. Oh, you wanna see it? Okay, let me go show you. Yeah. Can you imagine? Katumuha beating. Somebody reading speech. There's your whole attention, husband. I like that part. Katumu heart is beating. You can see it really, really beating. Yeah, I saw that one there too. The Katumu heart beating. I saw that part. Oh, y'all see it? Okay, let me go place. Yeah, I pray to get ahead. Right here. Like the Katumu party. Katumu heart beating. Tell it there you are here. Very good. A country like interesting country. What kind of thing you're causing? What kind of embarrassment you're causing people in this country? So, yeah. The ADK there, they decided to do all kinds of things. You see, the God can just do something. So let me see. Okay, the Katumu tape there. Check Katumu. Katumu zoo good. But the play or how I don't know what play or the play or how I don't know what play or how somewhere. Yeah, or how whole hard was somewhere. Because the whole thing that Sona business we're discussing here. The papa was doing something. Then the ADK came close. Yeah, the papa had a whole thing was Jakla. The whole thing was Jakla. So the whole heart and something was Jakla. But anyway, we'll get there. Let me say what's up to all of you and welcome. Let me try to what is this boy? And okay. All right. I will try my best. Let me remove this and have that in. Okay. Yeah. Austin Kawa just joining. So we having and he has to be adjusted. I know. Glass of water. Yeah, let glass of water and pass around with Katumu is deeply worried at this stage. Imagine that. God, this country. Katumu, the money business, you're your husband. You're ready. You're having to do paper. I will blame you, Katumu, first. Before I go to the children, I go to other people that Katumu years old. Katumu Bukai. My papa permit and in Nigeria can call him Buka. Katumu Bukai. Yeah. Very good. So let me see here. Katumu Bukai down is in as well. So let me see. Okay, that is what it is, and we are setting it, getting there, and with God, all things are possible, right? Katumu Bukai, that's our man. Nice. So make sure you get your lay water with you, and also, yes, same Rex, you are right. You should get ambulance vehicle on the standby. Then you get your 80 can. No, they call it 80 can. Okay, yeah, the 80 can. You get your Secret Service officer, then all of them know the technique. When we tell you somebody today again say that, but God can hide ugly. God can always show ugly and expose ugly. That's how God can operate. Let me try to show it to you guys. And like I said, and we'll certainly get there. And with God, all things are possible. Yeah. So let me see. You can play your cash giveaway tonight as well. A star 7 and a star 24#. You get 4,000 as per the draws. Star 7 and a star 24#. You'll get 4,000 as per the draws. All right. So let me play this once more so that you get it as a teaser before we can get to our guests and our team of presenters here who are right here tonight. Yeah, in there. He said, "You say what?" He shouted, "Oh, you didn't hear that, pa?" He said, "You say what?" Can we imagine as close as the brown one is here? He said, "You say what?" Yeah. Oh, you didn't. Okay, let pause it. Let pause it at that. I want to get something off here. Yeah, wait. I'll be telling you something. You can be playing fun in this country. We'll be talking. Oh, you be there. No, you be there. Now how we can operate. Very good. Brilliant. So let's play small, right? Yeah, let's play. Let's have a listen. You hear him asking the security. You say, "What?" Can you imagine? The man went here and talking there like that. You say, "What?" The same repeat of Norfolk County saga. He said, "What?" He said, "When you finish drinking, just shake their hand." Jesus. What? Yeah. The Bobo, I know that sign interpreter, the sign language interpreter, they were confused. One of the platforms there, get it, boy. The sign language interpreter, I think that LBS, yeah, LTV. The sign language interpreter said, when I want to interpret another one, check Katumu. Katumu is smiling at the same time. Osmo is about to fall. The woman likes money. With Chinese shoes, and she likes all kinds of thing in business. Imagine.
Both committees should please escort the president.
What? Ifini? After drinking, just shake their hand. What? Yeah. So at this point, what do you think was happening? Well, we will get into that answer right here on this. That Abu has joined in, and Austin is in, Abu is in, and we accept. Yeah, Kyne will join in later. But let me drink my water fresh in peace. And I hope Abu, Austin, and that of Kyne will come here with glass of water, because that's the new method now. Yeah, where you Abu brought your water. Abu get water. Austin, where your water? Where your glass? It got to be glass. There is something unique about glass. Now bottle, they say glass. The introduction of glass. So and God is wonderful. And let me say how's up to you guys, Abu, and of course the rest of the other guys. How you doing? How's everything with you guys?
I'm okay. I'm okay, AB. I'm very sure that Abu should be okay. It's difficult to see Abu smile Abu wearing white smile or big smile. So every time you see Abu wearing big smile or white smile, just know that Abu is okay. So there's something that is exciting him that brings out that white smile.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to believe that Abu is okay. But I'm good, I'm just laughing here at your glass of water, mimicking of burger. But I'm good. I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah, Abu, what's up? How's everything? Abu? I think Abu is freezing on all. You want to freeze on all the burger? I beg you, Baba. You come in here, you won't freeze on us. Abu, what's up?
I think Abu is muted.
Yeah, but I'm getting here. He's unmuted, and like you. So I don't know. He should be, but he's just starting.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's moving now. Yeah, he's in motion. Yeah, he's in motion now. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Evie. And so let me say, happy glass of water day to each of our followers, the students. Yeah. the followers that face the issue, teacher life, and all of the students. It's good to be here, of course, as always. And it is for these very important moment in our nation history. Spending time here to talk about the different takeaways from the president annual message. I think it's important. Constitutionally, it's the annual message. I don't know where the whole state of the nation came from, but any which way, we take it as that. After all of the preparation, to understand that at the end of the day, the most trending part of the president's message was going to be a glass of water. I am shocked. I keep laughing and smiling while I was saying.
So I think it's quite interesting, and I appreciate the fact that it had to end up the way it went. But before we can go into this discussion here, I'm going to make sure that indeed we work it up together. But of course, it's good that we are here. I don't know. What is the pattern? It's now becoming habitual. It had to be the trend. Any any major activity or event that Bwaka is associated with, there has to be a negative takeaways all of the time. I don't know whether you guys have observed that over the periods.
Oh yeah, certainly. And talking about today, let's begin with the preparatory aspect of it. And, there were a lot of things done to ensure from the GSA angle, and of course the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs and that of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to ensure that the protocol breach or breaches that were done during the inauguration were not repeated. But unfortunately, we with the protocol eye understand very well that there were a lot of disgracing protocol breaches yesterday. This is not supposed to be coming from an experienced set of people who have at least had one leap year in governance, in the space of governance. We believe at this point they might have put all in place, but unfortunately the contrary was the same.
And Abu, I will get to you and Austin. The reason why I think I'm very interested in getting you and Austin here tonight, you have some stint with the national legislature. You've covered Sona. You know how the legislature proceeds. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of that. But my question is to just say it in passing as to why I said it is like that. On his inauguration day, there were fainting that took away from there. And as he went on to attend, I don't know, the AMU graduation or whatever, I think that the Advantage University graduation, there was another takeaway again where somebody had to pull him back. And every function and wherever he's going, even including the day that the Millennium Challenge issue is supposed to happen, there was a burning of the Capitol that took away. Something major, just something negative just has to take away from him. And there's no moment that he has ever told a show that he has been about him, but rather he has been sending negative vices that may have taken away from him, like it was done today in the fainting and water rescue and activities that unfolded today again. How do you view such pattern? Is it really normal? It's not just Austin.
Every the Bible talks about paying evil for evil unto no man.
Okay.
And the consequences associated with those who choose to pay evil for evil, or those who chose to go evil against people who were clear heart for them. The consequences have never been comfortable or smarting with them. It has always been harsh. And from the day Joe Bwaka said that even if it costs the devil to get to the presidency, that was recorded in the directory of Jesus Christ. And he knew that people were willing to go at any length to land themselves in power. The fact that he saw lives were lost, including his own kinsmen who were killed in Lofa, and he has refused to even identify with them. Those are all moments that we call it, and the Bible will go after people who do not wear forgiving hearts and forgiving spirit. So the fact that the president will have a president who is not a forgiving person, who doesn't have a forgiving heart, obviously we should expect these calamities. And this is just the beginning, Abi. There were prophecies that came, that Joe Bwaka, about fire, about disasters and everything, that Bwaka has refused to take into serious consideration. He thinks about just using the police or using the armed men to intimidate, will push him or rescue him out of these calamities. You saw what happened today with all of the ACs that were installed, purchased from Japan and brought to the country, brought Japanese here to install those ACs and everything and make sure that they're okay and intact, just to prevent him from fainting. You saw what happened. These are spiritual sons. These are spiritual elects. They're not normal. They're not ordinary. We should not overlook these things. Maybe if you want to know what went wrong, Bwaka is cursed. The government is cursed. Bwaka looks like a disaster to God, to heaven. Heaven has not accepted or embraced Bwaka. And this thing will continue to happen to him to embarrass our country and embarrass us. For him, he's a devil. So he does not feel embarrassed. So we are the ones being embarrassed here. That's all I can say for him fainting and drinking water. Oh no, AC, he's calling for water here.
Oh no, AC, I love that. And let us kick it off. You both knowing exactly, because having attended any of the Sonas before because I had never had any duties, and to have been assigned there to have known activities leading to preparations and so forth. First of all, today, let's look at the preparation leading to the Sona today. Is there anything normal and abnormal, anything usual, unusual that we saw today? Can you just tell us where we are? Then we start entering into it. Abu, I think you can start up. Austin will follow up. Yeah.
I thought Austin wanted to start because Austin has hands-on
At the legislature. Yeah, Austin. Yeah, Austin, tell us. Yeah, you've been there.
Well, the first observation today was the sitting. When I was listening to some of the media institutions, you could realize that there were contentions from about the sitting capacity, the way the chairs were arranged.
The arrangement.
The way the chairs were arranged, they were giving privilege to members of the executive instead of giving privilege to members of the legislature. Because the president are going there to address the members of the legislature. So the president is supposed to face members of the legislature. So those who sit behind the president or on the left and right sides of the president are supporting members of the president's team of technicians or experts. But to create a space where the president will face them like he's addressing members of the executive, that was on protocol from the legislative standpoint and from my own experience. I think that's why some members of the House and the Senate were raising, the issue. Now, did they have to reach to that extent? No. I think there was poor arrangement and there was lack of coordination between the two, the House and the executive, rules order administration and foreign affairs. Because if there was a strong coordination between the two committees, I'm not too sure they were going to encounter what they encountered today with the problem they encountered with sitting, where originally sitting for lawmakers and members of the executives. The executives. So that's the first thing. I think it was heavily uncoordinated. It could be a mixture of two. Either it was uncoordinated, or you have people in the legislature who are inexperienced presiding over the committees on executive. If you look in the House, you know that James Colette is an inexperienced character. He has no experience, he has no understanding, he's clueless about the legislative activities, and you have him presiding over the committee on rules order administration. You replace Emmanuel Dan from the executive to somebody who is also a virgin to the legislature. Same applies to the Senate as well. So you replace Sir Joseph with a member, with somebody who is also a virgin to the legislature. So that could have been a reason for the lack of coordination. And then out of the two committees on executive, we're now also working with the two committees on rules order administration, who would basically understand the technical protocols and details that will come from the chief clerk and the secretary of the Senate to ensure that the sittings are well arranged in line with their own protocol and their own tradition. So I think that's what went wrong from that. That's my first observation. The second observation here is with the arrival of the president. If you realize, according to their laws, the president, the Chief Justice, after this entire Supreme Court bench here, which is obvious, I'm sure we won't talk about that, but the president arrived literally outside the constitutional requirement. He arrived. What may have been responsible for his delay, I don't know. We saw the poor attendance of members of the diplomatic corps. We saw the poor attendance of members of our financial institutions that are here, like the World Bank, IMF, and all of that. We saw people were missing their seats, and protocol come to you and say, no, you're not supposed to be here. You should go on outside. No, you're not supposed to be here. Please relocate and all of that. So, yeah, I mean, these are different observations that I think I need to point out.
Okay. What about the issue of absenteeism in sense of from the political rank as well? You know, so former President Ellen Johnson, Sirleaf, George Weah, they all were absentees, and including even members of the opposition bloc who must have associated themselves with Bouaka when he was in opposition with them.
And this is the biggest political takeaway. The president was speaking about reconciliation and genuine reconciliation, peace, and all of that, inclusiveness. But at the very front, you could not see any key member of the opposition bloc. That they didn't speak to inclusiveness. Why? Now, the mistake I see some of our friends on the UP are making is that they argue about invitation. It's a national event, a nationalistic thing. People should go there. No political leader just gets up and go to that event. That event is a legislative event. So people who go there at that level are supposed to be invited. For example, President Salif or attorney should send invitation out to political leaders. So, and I want to believe that even for this event, invitations were served because the US government, for example, will not send representation to a national event that they were not invited to. They will not just wake up and go there. So the fact that you serve invitation to members of the diplomatic corps and you refuse to serve invitation to members of the opposition bloc, it does not speak to unity. Forget about whether it's political unity or whatsoever. But I think they are supposed to be guests of honor to the president. Normally, they are guests of honor to the president. So at times, the legislature will invite, we're having State of the Nation address. So the legislature is inviting you to grace and witness the event. Or the president will say, constitutionally, I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z. And based on our relationship or our alliance, I'm inviting you to grace and observe the event. So they will send invitation out, the legislature sends invitation out, and the executive sends invitation out. So people go there by invitation, especially in the hall, is by invitation. Outside, no, but in the hall is by invitation. Because the John Chima is burned, they are still supposed to send invitation who will be members of the diplomatic corps, high profile guests and all of that. They were supposed to be sent invitation, and obviously former presidents are obviously VIPs or VIPs, depending on the protocol arrangement. So I'm told that most of the political leaders and former presidents were not served invitation, and that is why they were not there. Why that happened, I think in my mind, I don't want to assume, but with the way, but the manner informing which Baka has proceeded over the period, I think those former leaders, he refused to serve the invitation because he did not want to be part of them, and he didn't want them there. So they didn't go there. But that was wrong. It was highly unfriendly.
Abu, let's hear from you.
Yeah, certainly. So I think there are a lot of things that were observed, talking about from the planning, the organization, and all of that. Yes, I would like to agree with Austin. I mean, the heightened security, for me, I think there were a lot of intimidations around the whole thing, signaling a clear division of who they wanted there and who they did not want there, because an atmosphere of panic was already surrounding the entire preparation of the annual message delivered today. We saw too many gun-toting police officers all around the city, all around the corridor of the Capitol building, and in other corners, as if to say there was something that's so threatening that was happening to the state. And I believe the reason why we did not see a lot of political actors present, meaning the political opposition of the country, is simply because the regime perceived their presence as a threat. And so, the regime struggles with legitimacy, I continue to say. So every time they feel like the presence of Mrs. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and, of course, Mr. George Weah is a threat to their legitimacy. So they want a space of their own. They want a space exclusively to them, which is contrary to the national requirement in terms of unity, unification, and of course, serving people who are qualified for these kinds of national events. The actual inverse protocol as to how invitations are let out are best known to the organizers, like the legislature, and of course the office of the Chief of Protocol Republic of Liberia. But judging by the day's protocol, I believe former leaders and political parties leaders are supposed to be invited, because if you read the protocol, it is clear that there is a stipulated time by which protocol is supposed to usher in former presidents and former vice presidents and former president pro tempore right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
for the fact that these people were highlighted in the protocol, but we did not see them, it indicated that it was on the basis of shared hatred and, of course, deliberate decision to ostracize a very significant political segment of our society to appease the illegitimacy of Mr. Bwaka and make him feel legitimate. But it is not helping. Beyond that is the key absence of members from the diplomatic corps, the foreign partners, and of course from within the government. You know, our government is three and separate coordinate branches.
Yeah.
Somebody said, I saw a fast checker saying that, oh, it is not by law or what is that. I mean, people don't understand. Thank God AB is a lawyer here. Our laws are premised on precedence, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the fact
Precedent
that things have always happened, yeah, precedent law. For the fact that this thing has been inculturated, right? It becomes a norm, acceptable norms, and it has to be practiced to complete the ritual or whatever things that you want to do. And
Yeah.
besides, the absence of members of the Supreme Court bench signals a grave message about the legitimacy and the constitutionality of the setting today. Mind you, now we have to look at events before today. The House of Representatives have been involved in a leadership rigmarole. The
Mm-hmm.
Supreme Court held an opinion about it that was thwarted, misinterpreted, misrepresented for political purposes by the Attorney General. Now, it would have been a slap in the face of the members, each members of the Supreme Court to have sat under the gavel, right? Understanding that they took a position on the matter, declare all of the actions as ultra vires, which means beyond their authority, in line with the laws and constitution of the Republic of Liberia. So that same
Mm-hmm.
Supreme Court cannot go and sit there as an endorsement by any means, form, or manner. And guess what? Importantly, one of the justices, right, Siane Clinton Johnson, was appointed to the bench by Mr. President. She did not attend. So the United Party folks should sit down and think about that, right? It is about the country and it is about the constitution. It is unfortunate that those in power today have assumed the notion that Liberia belongs to them, and whatever they do, they are right and they will remain unchecked, and nobody can do anything beyond that physically. The protocol wars and other issues are happening. In trying to prevent some of the issues with the inauguration, we spend thousands of dollars to bring in AC fan or outdoor fans and all of that and install them. Embarrassingly, like AB said, our president, right, covered with the blanket of what? Wickedness. And these wickedness are haunting him everywhere he goes, no matter how you put him in a very beautiful area, you put AC or the wickedness is what comes from Bwaka that makes him wants to think every other time he has an
Right.
opportunity to engage and represent the country. This man, because he wanted to be president, he stood there and supported individuals to desecrate the presidency of this country, to insult women who, because Bwaka wanted to be president, he sanctioned and clapped for these people and laughed with them. And he is now president. These demons are coming after him. And like the preacher man said, calamities. These are the signs of calamities. Look at the protocol. If Austin put it right, and then I will zero in quickly. You are going to address the legislature. You're going to address the Liberian people through the legislature, right? And there are cardinal requirements by the Constitution, Article 58 of the Constitution, that talks about, right, presenting, right, the state of affairs of the country and also your legislative agenda. Did Mr. Barker present any legislative agenda for the ensuing year? Absolutely no. Go through the speech. Mr. Barker did not tell us what he will be doing in terms of legislation to impact life, right? To impact our community, our environment, to impact development. What strategically, 1 year time as a president, what new law, what obsolete law you want to reform, what the teachers. So no legislative agenda. So we're going to 2025 with no agenda, no direction. They're just going to be playing from the heart. This is disastrous for our country.
All right. So Abu, you know, as you were speaking, I'm trying my best to go back into Bwaka's files, other presidents' files, and I talk about the issue of annual messages that must have been delivered by them during those periods. You try to look at them and see the protocol or the tradition, and in the court of orders in terms of what it is. So I will take you back to former President George Manuel Weah, and there is an order of recognition of people, especially at such occasion. And that is what it will say. Her Excellency and Clark Mary Weah, First Lady of the Republic of Liberia, Excellency Chief Dr. Joao Taylor, Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Senate, and of course, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President Pro Tempore, honorable members of the legislature, Your Honor, the Chief Justice, Associate Justices of the Supreme Court, and members of the judiciary, the Dean, and members of the cabinet and other government officials, and it goes on and on. The Doyen and Excellencies, and members of the diplomatic corps and consular corps, His Excellency, the Special Representative of the UN Secretary General, the United Nations, the Chief of Staff, and men and women of the Armed Forces of Liberia. These are the order of activities, right? Traditional leaders, chiefs, elders, political and business leaders, they are also mentioned. There is something that we did in his last State of the Nation, in his last Sona, and that's why I just thought to stress here. Then we go back
that
to
is a tradition.
Yeah, that's a tradition. So we go now to former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and in her own State of the Nation address delivered on July 25th, 2016. So let's go back there. There is a tradition. She talks about the Vice President and talk about the Speaker. She talks about Mr. President Pro Tempore. There is a template that is at our executive. There is a template. It is there. Whether you like it, you go or you come down, that's a traditional template that every president will have to use. That is the core of So it says one, Mr. President Pro Tempore, honorable members of the legislature, Your Honor, the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court and members of the judiciary, the Dean, the same template that you will now see. Then specific invitees whom you know that you invited there, you will start mentioning them.
It's called the order of precedence.
Yes, that's the order of precedence. So if you saw all of these things, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did sing, George Weah did sing, even he, Joseph Yuma Boakai, his first Sona that he had, he did sing. Why on this occasion he has to change that order? Why on this occasion?
Because
I'm coming. Here he comes. He when it says.
So you have to read. You have to read his.
Yeah, but what I'm doing now. So it's here, and this one. Let me just tell the folks that are talking from the e-mansion or their Facebook page. So they say rescue the development. So he said, Madam Pro Tempore. He starts and he talk about Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of the House of Representatives. He comes to Madam Pro Tempore and members of the Senate, associate justices. He does not mention the Chief Justice. He comes to associate justices and members of the judiciary. Then he comes to Katumu Wa Boakai, First Lady of the Republic of Liberia. When Katumu Boakai is supposed to be placed somewhere up before even what's really going on? Then you come here. Then he starts to follow the trend of some of the template and say, Madam Dean and Madam Dean and members of the cabinet, talking about the foreign minister. In that, Mr. Doyen and members of the diplomatic corps. Then you talk about heads and officials of political parties. He mentions that, and they are not present, right? So, prelates and members of the religious organizations, our international and local partners, and our traditional leaders, chiefs, elders, my fellow Liberian district, blah blah blah. Those. So you see where Joseph Boakai fell short. Now that's his. I just read.
So there are two major absence or absences you recognize in the protocol.
Yeah, okay.
The first one is the Chief Justice. You don't recognize the subordinate because it's a superior or it's a superior stuff. So you start from the head of the branch of the government down. So you don't recognize the associate, the subordinates and leave or exclude Chief Justice. But again, Baga is aware. Baga is aware that he knows what the Chief Justice and Associate Justices. Surprisingly to him, he thought the Chief Associate Justices would have been in attendance and only the Chief Justice would have been absent. So he removed the Chief Justice name from the speech and left and included the Associate Justices. To his surprise, nobody attended. So he was compelled to read that portion because it was already in the final print.
Okay.
The second thing is, do you realize that the fourth estate, the fourth estate was not mentioned also?
Was never mentioned. Yeah, you very smart at that. Yeah.
The fourth estate was never mentioned because they've made Baga to believe that the media is down for him.
Okay.
Because there's Kings, there is Freedom, and there is Spoon, and there is OKF and Aga. People believe that two their separate views because they are one platform now supporting Baga, another platform supporting him. So the last Internews platform assessment that was done, they graded media institution per coverage. And so the fact that they believe that these critical voices are not, according to them, are not their friend or are not supporting them. So these critical platforms are supposed to represent the mass media. Because these critical voices or platforms are not supporting him, according to them, so the media or the fourth estate is not supposed to be recognized. So you take media from here. Forgetting to know that he has a Ministry of Information, a presidential press secretary that is supposed to work in an ELBC that are supposed to work together to coordinate media activities and help communicate the abuse. So you recognize us, but you want us to go and communicate or help you to interpret your policies to the public. That does not speak to reconciliation. Okay. There's also another thing that has to do with the protocol. Now, I don't know who's controlling Baga's protocol, but what I know is when you are learning the protocol, they're supposed to align with the different segment of the government, structure of the government. Katumu falls within the executive. So you can bring her down outside the executive. She's supposed to be aligned with the executive, the protocol for the executive, the protocol for the chief for the judiciary, and the protocol for the legislature. You get the Katumu Baga outside the executive and bring her way down after the judiciary and the legislature and bring her way down. No, she's aligned with the office of the president, the executive. So once the executive protocol is exhausted in recognition, you're not supposed to bring anybody or any office that is aligned with the executive. That is why you see former presidents, the protocol you read, you see George always recognize we are in line with the executive protocol and nothing outside that. So again, but our men, those are the educated people anyway. That's the 42 or 45 years experience that Baga brings to public service. Again, like I said, I don't know who's controlling this protocol or whether the protocol people are doing their job and they are detecting to the protocol people what to do and how it should be, which I want to believe that they are detecting to the protocol people how they want it to be and not how it is supposed to be. And I think these are extraordinary embarrassment that the speech, and these are for me, some people might say it's minor, but it's not minor because it comes with repetition, it comes with integrity, and it comes with the personality that the office is supposed to project. And once these things are lacking, it speaks the least about the quality of the office of the president. And we have to accept that as a fact.
And that's brilliant. Those are brilliant observations and that you've had so far. And we don't know whether they were deliberate or they were mistakenly done. That's something we have to look at, or on the basis of incompetence. We want to really know that as well, to see whether we can really fit something right within there. But if you were to look at the protocols, especially like you said, timing was an issue. From the perspective of Abu, he said timing was an issue. I think, Austin, you stated that too, that timing was an issue. He didn't start on time. Normally, it would start at 4 o'clock on the dot, right? Yeah, that always was there. And then it would start right on the dot. And we'll have that done. Now, with what all that was done, in fact, I was even saying that the AFL was not mentioned, but was it really unusual to you to have seen on this kind of day where the AFL have to parade the streets with Moa and of course military stuff all over. What are the essence of that today? What does it really mean for us now?
Just before that, I want to talk about the protocol that was highlighted by Austin. I think the
Yeah,
key,
yeah, please,
right?
please. Yeah.
And it is a demonstration of emptiness
Okay.
by the regime that profess to be very experienced, and we're marketing like the most experienced politician for the president of our country in Mr. Boakai, right? This is quite simple. uh, you all identify a very significant protocol breach. And by the way, AB asked a question as to who's controlling the protocol, right? Ambassador Emmett Kennedy is the chief of protocol in the executive mansion. You always see him. He used to be with Ellen Sirleaf and all that black, and
Yeah.
he is. And he is also, when we were there, right, the professor or the lecturer of protocol and etiquette at the Gabriel L. Denny Foreign Service Institute. So they are not supposed to be people who do not know what they are doing. So either that they are being muzzled, or their duties are being usurped, and they are just there as empty shell, collecting salaries and embarrassing the country. This is the height of disgrace, because I remember vividly in classes with Emmett Kennedy, right, where he will speak about and identify protocol breaches when our dear sister, rescue mother, was the protocol. They talked about just go and talk about all these things, sitting and all of that. So to see him now there, right? There were breaches during the inauguration, and today again it was quite very dishonorable. The president honor our laws and our protocol, right? The president and his wife are one. So the wife enjoys the presidential privilege. In a room where you have the president and the vice president going, where you recognize the first lady before the vice president coming down. That's how the order of president will flow.
Yeah, sure.
It was absolutely disgraceful, and of course a demonstration of uncivilized deportment by the president to have collected his wealth from near him and carry his wealth
Wait that.
way and go put his wealth and more other business. How you pay your own wealth, you go turn your wealth and more other
Wait
business.
that.
When your wealth ought to be standing right near you, as soon as the president move from there, the next person was supposed to see AB that the president went. Unless if the president is not married. But in this case, the president is married. In the case of Mrs. Sally, we did not have a husband. Go back to the U.S. inauguration, right? When they were standing for the photo, you always saw on the right hand side is a position of authority. You will see the president stand there, and then his wife follow. All the other subordinates will follow, right? The former vice president or husband will come last because he does not have, but he enjoys the privilege of the vice president and all of that. So how the people who claim to have all of the knowledge about governance in Liberia will be making these elementary blunders, embarrassing our country, and then using arrogance to justify the embarrassment? The security thing is a serious concern. I was astonished. This is not first time. I've not seen. Maybe Austin have seen or UAV, but I mean the guns were too much. Why are the guns for? The security people are riding on the limitation and of course the incapacity and inability of Mr. Boakai. The security sector on Boakai will be the highest avenue by which Liberian monies will be siphoned and stolen. Every time they design and concoct unnecessary fake emergencies in the country, when they are issued, they collect money and give it to them. Gregory Coleman must leave this government as one of the richest security men ever to have existed in Liberia history.
Right.
Absolutely needless. The money that's been given to them is a waste of public resources. But they go sit down with the old man and tell you, say, oh, Papa, I can't agree them from Buze Quarter. They say they come in protest. So they think, yeah, we need them. So you got to put the AFL us out. This is how our money gone. Free fiasco, only for the men to go drink a glass of water.
Man of God,
For me,
that's a
I will just be brief on this military display today. Maybe all of us are aware that Mr. Baka is aware that the public does not have confidence in he and his government. We are also aware that the security force, the joint security team, is aware that the public does not also have confidence in the system and in the security. When your government or a country reaches the point where the public is rejecting you, rejecting the entire system, that is a potential security, national security threat to the entire country.
Yeah.
So at that point, you will see them coming outside in a militarized form because they are not sure, but they are aware that there is a potential threat that they don't know which angle is going to come from. So let's go outside prepared to retaliate or neutralize any potential threat. But if you're cool with your people, you are good with your people, everything is okay, the country is reconciled, the country is... Look, maybe, I don't know whether you listen to the Minister of Justice. I think you listened to him because you were in Uganda for that retreat.
Yeah.
For the Bar Convention.
Mm-hmm.
From the day the Minister of Justice came to the public, spoke before lawyers, Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court, all of you lawyers, and said that more and more Liberians do not have trust and confidence, and more Liberians are taking the laws into their hands because they do not have trust and confidence in the justice system. That was a public rejection, public admittance first to the rejection or to the fact that Liberians have rejected the system. In serious country, also told because he's admitted that he lost grip of the system. Now, when a Minister of Justice tells you more and more Liberians do not have trust and confidence in the system, what do you think the security people will do? Abu sitting down as Police Inspector General, AB sitting down as maybe NSA boss, Can sitting down, I want security, I want border security, immigration, we call it immigration here. And we're sitting on a desk at the table analyzing the security threat of our country or the security situation of our country. And we play the Minister of Justice, who should be head of the joint security, announcing to you that more and more Liberians are taking the laws in their hands, meaning the mob violence is on the increase because Liberians do not trust the system. What will you do? All of a sudden, the military will run into action. The police will run into combat mood. And that's what's happening. The Minister of Justice has said clearly that more and more Liberians are taking the laws into their hands because they do not have trust and confidence in the system. That was an alarm or an indirect instruction to the military to run into combat mode. You are telling the police, go into the armory and come outside and be combative because Liberians do not trust the system. Mm-hmm. So the Minister of Justice was indirectly telling these people to move into action. So this country is into an emergency, a state of emergency indirectly. We're not waiting for Bagadan to sign it. But we are into a state of emergency. The Minister of Justice has said that clearly.
You're right.
So what do you think the police will do?
Constitutional breakdown. When the constitution breaks down, you have these kinds of emergencies all over the place.
And some of the notable absenteeism that we saw from there as well is even the sense of rejection from his own political party. Because prior to Sona, his party leader had a press conference, and the kind of reaction from there where people talking about jobs, all these kind of occasions that when you will see your puppet faithfuls, supporters are all in their regalia or so forth here and there, just to give you that cheer up, that kind of support. And that is something that but you saw the total absence of unity party there as well. You couldn't see that Bwaka had a sense of belonging. He had a political lineage. He had a political attachment. So you could sense clearly that Bwaka is left on his own, and the security apparatus in the country, or the joint security, they understand it, that Bwaka runs a serious risk. Remember, in recent time, they had to issue presidential motorcade protocol and talking about how people were getting too close to the motorcade, and they hear all of these kind of invectives, and people were disrespecting the motorcade. All these things were bad. You can now see It could have accumulated to that, putting the military outside on these kind of occasions.
Because when it reaches the point where even your party is having resentment issue. So the army district 17, for example, I know that they dish out some money to the party leadership, asking them to mobilize like they did during the inauguration at the Unity Conference Center to wear their party t-shirt or paraphernalia to come outside and show some support. The party structure in District 17 rejected the offer. They said, we're not going outside because we do not have confidence in the system. We have been rejected.
Right.
So we are not aligned with your program or your strategy. It's not going to work this time. So you just imagine how many party structures. Yes. So you just imagine how many party structures rejected their program today.
You're right.
So maybe it's disgraceful. At this point, obviously the military will come outside. They will display strength. Oh, we got gun, we got more, we got water.
You're right.
Water, I can't even get to him.
Yeah, so basically saying intimidation and fear and everything, because there is maybe in 1 year time, what Mr. Barker should have reported on is that there is a popular rejection of himself and his regime. That is the only thing that can inform the heightened militarization around Monrovia. Therefore, a 1 hour 25-minute speech to deliver to the legislature. The political opposition rejected him. Like Austin said, his own political party, the youth, are angry. If there is a chance to gang on Mr. Boakai, it will begin with the United Party Youth League. They are prepared to tear him apart, according to them, for giving their jobs to people who are nowhere around, like your own brother from Mika. They said that they don't see him, but now he's in the show, eating the show more than them, and they are angry. They're not picking their cause. So the Yana boys are angry. The market women are angry.
Yeah.
Everywhere there is anger.
Yeah. Opinion polls were not horrible. The opinion polls were, in fact, Prince Johnson Barra in Nima County was also a disaster. Everything leading to this Sona was not too good. Everything was a total disaster. I think that's the reason why the military or maybe the security forces are behaving and they are conducting themselves in the form and manner they are doing. And so let us transition a bit and I go a bit into his speech. You know, it will take a long time for us to always have our own time listening to his speech. But just to wrap it up, especially from the perspective of his speech, one thing that was absent that the Unity Party said that they would have talked about and heralded and so forth, and two things. One, the issue of corruption, the issue about drug. Checking his entire speech, those things were overlooked. Where are we? You saw that? Did you take notice of that?
AB, absolutely, yes. Especially the drugs. There is nothing to report on in terms of progress. Everything about drugs is a failure and disappointment. Okay. Mr. Boakai has brought in more drugs into this country, admitted to by his former DEA officials. They introduced, in fact, a killer drugs. It will be a disgrace.
Abu
Jakarta.
Yeah, Jakarta. Stephen Thomas Estate Network, I think so. Yeah, Austin, I think you can pick up from there. Yeah, while Abu is trying to get back and reconnect it.
For me, I think we're in a disaster.
Okay.
And we're not leaving this disaster anytime soon. Here are a few observations.
Okay.
Talking about the drug issue, yes. The DEA said, we thought Mr. Braga was going to the country through the legislature on the DEA reform.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever the case is, drug reform is key. We can be providing update or reporting to the legislature about our performance in 2024, and we exclude reform with the DEA. I mean, that does not make sense. I don't know. Right. I don't know what's going on, but I think Mr. Braga was deceptive with that. The second thing is, do you know that the entire Ministry of Youth and Sports was never factored significantly in the speech? Whether it's youth development, whether it is his 20,000 RT training thing, nothing. He didn't factor anything significantly about the youth, especially sports. Nothing. captured. Nothing was supposed to capture in entire speech. For a president to speak for 1 hour, 20 plus minutes and does not mention anything about sports. Today, I see him celebrating local win over Bon County. That's deceptive. Not only that, there are a number of persons that were suspended on tenure jobs. The president is supposed to be updating the legislature on steps that he had taken. He just suspended the NEC head. He suspended LTA head. He suspended central bank. No update on all of those suspensions from the different entities. Besides that, the president spoke about the fight against corruption, AB. There are high-profile corruption cases in this country that the president started. The president took office and launched an investigation of the Ministry of the Central Bank, Ministry of Finance, what you call them, the internal, not the internal, but the what the guy from the four guy from the internal, the financial intelligence unit, and all of that.
Okay. Yeah.
Samuel Toy is being investigated. So the president provided update on the progress that his government has made in the fight against these major corruption cases. That will not be going into the nitty-gritty of the case. Why was the president silent on these major corruption cases? Besides that, the government has indicted people at different levels. The president said nothing. Then the president telling us he wants to form an insurance commission. Maybe the Ministry of Transport has insurance statutory responsibility. They have an assistant minister for administration and insurance, a deputy minister for administration and insurance, and the Ministry of Transport. The Ministry of Transport is the regulatory agency. We have a service provider, which is the National Insurance Company of Liberia, NACO. So we have a service provider. Now, why is the president establishing a National Insurance Commission? To do what? What are they going to do? Usurp the function of the Ministry of Transport and NACO, or you're going to strip up the functions of those two agencies and transfer all to the National Insurance Commission? If that's what's going to happen, then it's useless. That's waste of money again. While Ghana, Sierra Leone, Kenya, the entire East Africa, and even countries around, we are scrapping off some of these responsibilities from public service. We are reducing waste. Ghana is dissolving whole Ministry of Information. They need Mahama dissolve the Ministry of Information. In our country, Bwaka in his second year is proposing the establishment of a government entity. To do what with an insurance commission? NACO can serve as service provider just as the telco is serving as a service provider. The Ministry of Transport can continue being a regulator just as the Ministry of Post and Telecommunication is being a regulator. The policy arm, and that LTA is being a regulator. So why do we want to establish an insurance commission? Because Braga wants to provide more jobs for Joseph Braga and his criminal friends, and Katumu Braga and her over-age friends who she wants to bring from America and come back to work that she deal with the superintendent of Bomi County. And I see the lawmakers sit down there, group of useless people sit down there, and they are clapping their hands. Braga is telling them we are bringing additional bread into the country, and they are sitting clapping their hands. For what? We don't understand. Leave that. Imagine the entire Western region, the entire Western region. Bwaka and Bwaka year was a wasted year for the Western region. The second year, Bwaka is announcing only one major development initiative for the Western region, and that's the pavement of the Mandina to Robertsport Road that George Weah started. That George Weah secured funding for.
So that point raised by you, there brings us to the question of saying, though the speech is not yet long to critique, but you want to ask yourself the question: was it a speech that had anticipated what they have created? Because you have over 100 days, but now all those things are over. Now, is it a speech that was able to highlight the creation of the rescue agenda or the implementation of prior programs? Where are we? What sort of speech did you really think it would have been in this kind of year? Yeah, what you have expected?
So this is what they did. The speech could not have captured the rescue agenda because there was no rescue agenda.
Okay.
There was a rescue conversation. The rescue agenda was just agreed upon, validated, and all of that. So we believe that the 2025 programs are supposed to be or were supposed to be captured in the rescue agenda. But for the update for what he did in 2024, that's what brought in the Medina rule. Because even though the Medina rule is captured in the 2025 plan or program, but I was just trying to conclude on the point before I come to your question. Imagine you saw senators and lawmakers from the Western region clapping their hands. But I tell you, 1 year I was in power and do nothing in the West. My second year coming in power, I'm going to continue job with our project that you started, road project that you started in Kyne County with the Medina Road. Hospital there, the Boto Kyne sitting or say or don't say there. I'm going to sitting the Deceptive said there, and they are sitting there and they're all clapping their hands. Waka is announcing nothing significant for the Western region. And they're clapping their hands when there is an Emory hospital that here American is in America lobbying for money to equip the hospital. Nothing new in the whole 2025 agenda for the Western region besides the Medina rule that George Weah started. Our lawmakers have nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Not only that, AB, why is capital in bombing Magibi and Nima for your countries? Nothing. But the lawmakers are sitting clapping. The baga is making sense to them. And when they expect that they are supposed to come home and we are supposed to celebrate them. Now, so to your question about the rescue agenda, maybe the rescue agenda in every
creation that he spoke about, was there anything they created? And so far, because you kept me talking about roles, and then you're not telling us that you created it or you raised revenue for this role or you raised funding, sources of funding, because those are things that we have raised, we have been on the tour, we have initiated this, we have all those things that you will hear President Weah said during his periods. Did they say any to say, look, we raised this for this project? Did they say in all of that? That's what I'm saying. That's the creation aspect I was talking about.
The government significantly created nothing. The government significantly acted or is acting on what she inherited from the Weah administration and refusing to give credit, which I do not even want them to give Weah credit because you can't hide the facts. World Bank is aware that she raised funding and contributed funding to the Kanta, to Saglepe, and Saglepe to or Yekepa and straight to the Southeast. They are aware of that. So we don't need them to give credit. But to say for the government to say this is what we created, significantly nothing. All the roads Baga talking about, they pay fee into the road fund strategy that was operational last, in fact, by the Unity Party government. It was at the UP government that operational last the road fund, not the UP government. Okay, so Baga operational last the road fund significantly contributed to all the roads still Baga is completing today. So they will not give credit, and they will not tell you the source of funding and all of that. And he will not give you detail of the project because an attempt to give detail of the project will be giving credit to George Weah. So he does not give detail about all of the roads projects that are ongoing. And that's another point. Now, creating jobs. The UP spoke highly about job creation. Baka did not say anything about job creation. I thought Baka should be telling us today we're able to create 15,000 jobs, or 10,000 new jobs, or 5,000 new jobs. I thought Baka should be telling us how much significantly that the private sector has been expanded, jobs that have been created by the Baka government. Baka spoke about 41 to 42% of the budget that was authorized by the legislature in his first year, which was last year, to allow him to start the operation. But Baka failed to tell us how the 41 million was spent, where the money was spent, whether the money was spent transparently. He said nothing about that. And I think at this point, this is where the legislature is supposed to come in now to start reviewing all of these. When you report to your boss is supposed to review your performance and tell you, okay, we'll do this, we'll not do this. Sadly, the bosses have already acted by approving the 2025 budget without any budget performance report from 2024. So it means they're not going to there's no space to checkmate Joe Baka. Baka is going to operate loosely again, like one loose dog for the entire period of 2025, with nobody checkmating him because the protest is in your pocket. The legislature has been started, and the man who is considered as the speaker of the majority bloc is in his right pocket. He has Yombly in his left pocket, and he has the rest of the majority, so-called majority members of the House and the Senate all packed in his the two back pockets. So I mean, Baka is just walking young, 80-year-old man walking with the speaker on the podium in his two front pockets, members of the House in a right back pocket, and members of the Senate in a left back pocket, and they're walking loosely. And Baka is just running the country loosely. Nobody can checkmate him. Nobody to call him the order. When AB speaks, he sends plain clothes men around Keith Evans to tell him. When Austin speaks, he sends plain clothes men to bring his car. And that's how loose the system is. When people want to come outside the protest, they release tear gas. When you go to deliver your State of the Nation address, where Liberians are supposed to come out to celebrate you, you put the military in the street to intimidate them.
And let me just try to quote some of his statements so that people will know the lies in Bwaka's stuff. Bwaka said something. He said in the past year, we delivered on our promise to recondition and meet major roads corridors within the first 100 days. My face of bull-faced liar. He said,
imagine man lying at 80-year-old.
Yeah, 80 years old. He said, we deliver on our promise. That means he did it in the first 100 days. They maintain all the major corridors of roads. He said, we have continued to maintain 783 kilometers of major roads nationwide, making key routes such as Broadville to Bobolu, Vonjema to Foya, Foya to Menikoma, Zwedru to Kanweken, Passable, resulting in reduced commodity prices. Jesus. They may say commodity prices now come down because people just flying all over the country. Nobody can hitch now. He put it inside. He said, since January 2024, we expanded the RRA road project from 8 to 20 kilometers of paved roadway. The Senate wanted to look at 2 road projects here and there, right? So then he came forth and said something which I would just like to play here briefly, and then you will have a listen. It is the bold-faced lies that Bwaka had told today. And for all men like that to be lying, they don't think you're going to see God's face for true. Because I can see 80-year-old man lying. So let's listen to this.
Despite global trends affecting community supply and prices, we have seen consistent declines in the cost of essential commodities, including rice and petroleum products. The price of 25 kg IR64 parboiled rice was reduced within the first 2 months of our leadership. In addition,
you listen to him? Let me pause it there. He said the price of 25 kg was reduced in the first 2 months. That means in what? 2 months is 30, 60 days.
Yes.
But he did not tell us from where to where.
He said in the first 2 months. So it means that between January 22nd. So it means between January 22nd to March 22nd, the price of rice was reduced. Which is lying because even the circular that came from the Ministry of Commerce, it was not March. It came in March, April. It came in April.
Yeah, April.
So that's not even accurate. Besides that, it did not take effect April because there were already products already in country, so we were taking effect upon new importation. So, Baka, I don't know who gave Baka these economic details, but they just put something.
So let's continue and have a listen.
Used within the first 2 months of our leadership. In addition, we successfully implemented the measure to reduce pump prices, lowering the price of premium motor spirit PMS by 12.53% from $4.47 in January to $3.91 in December 2024. In fiscal year 2024, in the face of global challenges, Liberia made remarkable progress in domestic revenue mobilization. We collected 734,000 $0.77 billion in revenue, out of which domestic revenue collection stood at an impressive $695.3 million, a 12% growth over the previous year. This achievement marks the highest domestic revenue collection in our nation's history. On the expenditure side, we spent a total of $661.4 million to execute the government functions and projects. To strengthen progress, we have implemented needed tax reforms, introducing the value-added tax VAT in April 2024 to replace the outdated goods and services tax GST. We are also investing in digital tax administration and building state-of-the-art customs inspection facility at the Freeport of Monrovia to increase efficiency and expand our tax base. These interventions and reforms align with the regional standard, improve tax compliance, and are expected to create a more stable revenue stream for the future.
Well, Austin, there where we are, and that is where JMB leaves us. And we think for sure with all JMB has said, which is very much disgusting. This old man to say what he's saying. Now, Jesse Kowe says this. He says, according to Joseph Boakai, the total revenue collected was 734 million, while the total expenditure is 671.4 million. He said this amount to an unspent revenue surplus of 72.6 million. He said it was the highest, according to him. This amount should have been reported as a revenue brought forward in the fiscal year 2025. So what happened to that money? Boakai is lying and stealing. You see how you can catch away in how, and of course, and he says here, my research shows that there is no brought forward of said amount. Nothing of such reflected in the fiscal table of 2025. So Boakai said they collected 734, the highest revenue collected. Out of the total, the expenditure from that revenue is 661.4 million, meaning we have 72.6 million, and that was left. Where is that money? Boakai point is saying trouble. Austin? So these are oh, Austin is back now. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Austin. Yeah, Austin, sorry. Yeah, I was just reading through Omer Boakai's statement, and I was reading on an input from Jesse Kowe, and who was just asking these critical questions about some missing. Yeah, okay, yeah, very good. Yeah.
I follow.
Yeah, about some missing 2.something million, yeah.
And these are basic economics that I think the president at that level is supposed to understand. Okay, you see, there are certain things that the president himself is supposed to review and request or demand facts before going to the public when it comes to the economics. You can't play politics or intellectual as the economics, because when you try to do that, it creates anger, or it increases the anger from the people. When you start talking about price, when you start talking about basic commodities, those are political commodities or political statements that directly affect the ordinary people. So you're supposed to come with facts, because you're talking economics. Now, we're not talking about reducing pump price of fuel. AB, you don't have to be a judge, you don't have to be an economist to know the factors that influence the reduction or increase in the price of international commodities. Liberia doesn't have any economic or political power or capacity to increase or reduce the pump price of gasoline or fuel. Liberia does not have that capacity. Technical, political, or economic capacity Liberia does not have. The only reason is because economically Liberia does not produce. Liberia is not a manufacturer. So you can determine price.
Yeah.
So Boakai, I don't know how Boakai does not know that, but Liberia does not have capacity to determine price of international commodities that you are not even manufacturing or producing. The price of gasoline, fuel oil, rest in the country that we're not manufacturing or producing, those prices are determined by the market forces. They are determined by the manufacturers, the different players. They saw the importers and even determine price in this country and will not have anything to do with it. Why do you think we always call the meeting of the importers of petroleum products in this country to set price? It's because they are the players. Those are the forces that influence the price. So the government is saying we're reducing price or increasing price without getting involved the importers. Same applies to rice. Some of buyer can start bluffing and say, oh, we reduce price and all. How you reduce price? When you're reducing price, it is not supposed to affect your envelope. The government will reduce price because the government will give subsidies. When you provide subsidy, you're not reducing significantly. You are paying for it. And when you're paying, we know the source of the funding. So let's say government says she reduced the pump price by 2 cents for gasoline. Where is it? If you reduce the pump price by 2 cents, you are providing subsidy to the importers. Meaning, let's say you're giving $30 million annually to importers to sell gas at $7.50. So the government needs that money. Where is the government going to take the money from? Taxes. You're increasing taxes. So the bread still comes back to the citizens. And the government wants to start celebrating like they are not putting the bread on the citizens. Government does not take the consumer, take the bread. So government did not increase price because the price of basic commodities, because the price of petroleum products drop on the world market. Obviously, the LPRC government did not have anything to do. They will drop the price. If they increase tomorrow, Baka will come and say, we the government will increase gasoline price. They will not say, they will can't justify by saying, oh no, the price of per barrel increase on the world market. That's why we do not have control. But when it drops on the world market, they take responsibility here for it. When it increases there, then they say we get control over it. You know, these are some of the deceptive things that Baka has to stop. The issue about rice price, maybe we never waste our radio time to go into that thing because we are understanding the real issues behind all these different things. The real things that Baka is supposed to be talking about, he's not addressing them. Baka, how have you fought corruption? Your chairman is into corruption web. Your Minister of State is in the scheme. Your Minister of Foreign Affairs is into the scholarship scheme. Your wife, the office of the First Lady, is deeply involved and rooted into a corruption scheme. What action did you take? What did you do? How can you convince us that you have not been selective in the fight against corruption? These are things we're talking about, and you're talking about price of rice that you're not producing. You get control over, you say the price drop, so you say you don't want to reduce rice price. You're not producing manufacturing fuel oil and gasoline. The price drop on the world market, it has to drop here. It drop anywhere everywhere in the world. Then you want to take glory for it. So I mean, these things don't make sense to people who went to school. Come on, they didn't take 5, 6, 7 years to get 1 degree. They can't sit down a bar, they can't be lying to all. You know, so those are not the real issue. The real issue that Baka should be talking about. And today, did you hear how you refer to the bread and butter issue of the country? Did you hear how you refer to it? Yeah. That the so-called bread and butter issue.
Yeah, you call it the so-called bread and butter issue, you're right.
Yeah. So today now bread and butter issue now are so-called. The same bread and butter issue that Baka campaign on. That we have to pay all the road, including the road, even in house. They are not important. They are not having impact because until the bread and butter issues are addressed. Today, that so-called bread and butter issue now. Because he's president.
Wow. So, His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai spoke and no mention of the LACC. He only talked about the GAC conducting audits and all the audits issues are up, internal audits and so forth. That's all we can see here. And I don't know, but there's nothing specific about the real fighter. Honor the caption, transparency and accountability. He did not even mention that. And to have seen it, he said, here he said, a year ago, we began our stewardship. We declared that business as usual approach and to governance will be a thing of the past. We remain committed to promoting openness, transparency, and accountability across. Okay. He said we have supported the independence of integrity institutions. He said the General Auditing Commission has published results for 60 out of 80 audits, including those conducted before my administration. Key institutions audited include the Executive Protection Service, the Central Bank, Consolidated Funds, and the Liberia Telecommunication Authority. Some audits conducted before my tenure revealed serious systemic weakness and millions of unaccounted for public funds. My government will continue working closely with the GSC. He did not even say the LSCC. There is nothing mentioned about the LSCC here in all that he mentioned about here. That's Joseph Walker for you. He just talk about audit report because you know the GSC audit report is nothing. The GSC has got toothless bulldog that can fight. And he's mentioning audits done by the GSC that only reference his previous administration. Bwaka is not giving anything. In fact, the LTA issue indicted Bwaka on one of his financiers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the acting head.
And the acting head, yeah. So he also saw that as well. And Bwaka did not speak to that, and he's not talking about a lot of flaws, a lot of lies, a lot of deceptions in Bwaka's stuff. And quickly and hurriedly, right on your screen, Austin, I'm about to show you something. Immediately after Bwaka ended his stuff, Bwaka has finally departed the country for Tanzania. There is the flight schedule. Okay. There is the flight schedule for Bwaka, and I'm about to display it for you people to see it. There is the flight schedule for Bwaka. The flight flew strictly from from Turkey. From Turkey. It flew strictly from Turkey. That's the flight. You will see that flight, which of course this country is really what they call. I don't know how to describe it. I think we it done. So the flight is called is a private jet. It's a private jet that just jetted in and took Bwaka away and carried him to Tanzania. So the private jet name is Bombardier Global Express. Bombardier Global Express. Number TCKRD. Check for that private jet. And I'm about to show you it. I'm showing you the private jet before we come back. There is Joseph Yuma Bwaka entering the private jet. Bwaka is entering this private jet, and they are using a light for him to even enter there. There is Bwaka entering the private jet. There is a private jet that landed, very big one that Bwaka is going to spend your money on. This is what you put in. There is a liability you will incur. No wonder Bwaka calls it so-called bread and butter issues. That is how you describe your issues that matter to you. He's on another private jet again. Immediately after today, he's going again. He's gone. This is Bwaka for you. There is a private jet that landed and picked up your president and carry him. There is it. There is it right here, and you are seeing it. Good. So this is the flight schedule, the flight history, right here, picked up straight, and you seen it here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you seeing it, Austin? Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. So, Abby.
Yeah.
Abby, quickly. I don't have to. My other phone spots. I'm using one phone. That flat belongs to Ogun Group. ORGUN. Use the other phone and search for Ogun Group.
Okay.
You will know who that flat belongs to. We told the people that Joe Bwaka continues to do business with the Bahamas and the Russians and that other criminal South African billionaire. People refusing to believe what we are telling them. So while you're Googling Ogun Group to realize and know who that flat belongs to and what they're dealing into, then we can go in.
Wow.
So it belongs to Ogun ORG, and that's a group of companies that flat belongs to. The same people with Mahama and so with and coming here, that the same group of people there. They involve into money, into petroleum, they involve into transportation. The same people that are bringing our Lolo buses.
Yeah.
That's the extension. The same group. The simple that brought in this transport company here that is having issue now with Ministry of Transport. That they have an issue with the police and transport ministry have an issue today. That's the same group of company people we're talking about. They involved in the transportation, involved into oil and gasoline, they involved into money, they involved into all kinds of stuff. That's the same group of people there. Now, we're talking about things, I don't know whether you found it, because I want to talk about the rule of law thing. Why Bwaka would not mention rule of law and fight against corruption and all that kind of things. Which is very important. Bwaka's wife would not be Baka will not be seeing a document that incriminates his wife, and he places emphasis or takes corruption or transparency conversation to the legislature because his wife is indicted. Baka will not talk about respect of law when Baka he himself has illegally conspired to remove a speaker that was legally elected. Baka will not take his 80-year-old self from rehab and go to Capitol building to sit under a gavel that the Supreme Court say we do not respect. A gavel that the Supreme Court say is illegal. A gavel that the Supreme Court boycotts. The Supreme Court boycotted the gavel that Joe Baka sat under tonight.
Yeah.
So for your Supreme Court to be boycotting the gavel, illegitimizing the gavel, the Supreme Court said this gavel is illegal. The actions, all the actions that led to the removal of Fonanti, to selecting Clarence Guy as presiding, and then ushering in Tomo Fala, and then Fala presiding, everything you do, you did for ultra virus. You are the lawyer. You know what better, you know how to better interpret that. So they say all the actions were outside their legal authority that elected the speaker. The Supreme Court boycotted. Baka went there and subjected his 80-year-old self, or 80-year-old wisdom to a gavel that the Supreme Court say is illegal. You ready to that kind of president will go talk about rule of law? Joseph Baka, Capitol building was gutted by the John Chimok gutted by fire. Baka without any technical advice or brief, no legal brief, no technical brief, nothing. Baka goes to Capitol building and concludes that the action is arson because he has political opponents that he wants to target. That was that lawless? No. So all Baka's actions will not be. Baka dismissed all the major positions. The latest is neck, and he cares less about that. Instead, Baka will go talk about lawful behavior. No, Baka will not address anything that has to do with rule of law because Baka is the biggest agent of lawlessness in the country. The biggest, the most decorated agent of lawlessness in the country is Joe Baka. To the extent that his Minister of Justice will say that more and more Liberians do not have trust and confidence in the justice system, they're taking the laws in their own hands. What does it say? So Baka will not talk about respect for the rule of law. You're chasing lawmakers, intimidating lawmakers, using people to insult lawmakers, suspending lawmakers, taking their benefits, not remitting their benefits to the government, but dividing it among yourselves. You're spending $5 million plus while you're begging World Bank and IMF to come here and support your programs. You're spending $5 million plus to remove a speaker illegally, violate the laws. And hey, come on, Baka will not talk about law, about respect for the rule of law. He will not talk about it. So this is the country we have. Baka has recorded himself in our book in the worst. We have the worst and the best governance book. Baka has recorded himself in the worst governance book in our country. From year one, the paper started damaging everything. So when Eddie decided to put Baka on to silence Baka, he said he was not. We should try the race car. We put a race car on the track. He has derailed on millions of occasions. So even starting the engine was a problem for what he finted doing inauguration. That finting was a representation of starting the engine. So even start the engine, he could not start the engine, he finted. That was an early warning to us. Why Eddie silent him? The engine finally started. See where he has landed us. Derailed on multiple occasions. And it's sad.
You're right on that. And there was I like the fact that you were able to highlight those issues. Bwakai cannot speak to the issue of corruption. The anti-graft institutions have spoken, both local and international. The most recent complaint from the Panoramic Justice Group and against Bwakai and his team of human rights abuses, lawlessness, all those things have choked him. And so Bwakai could not make mention of it. So forth. I think for sure it will be the mockery because The international actors themselves have cataloged all of the lawlessness that we are sensing, and we're seeing the political intimidation. The military is now brought into political intimidation because to take the military from the barrack to say, look, come and intimidate political party and their followers from coming out of Sona. People can raise protests anywhere. There can be. It doesn't matter. Protest is not something that it will not be obstructive or so forth, but for you to take the military now and be using it as your political wing to be intimidating political opponents, that's what we are sensing. And of course, it's quite terrible. A lot more could be said about what happened today, but we are just grateful to the Almighty God that at least all of you were able to follow up on what really happened. And tonight, Bwaga talked about the issue of the arrest agenda. He even talked about expansion of the airport and so forth. We talk about the budget. Now, speaking about the illegal budget, because the Supreme Court action today, it speaks volume. You never needed the court. Now, Austin then will take us back to 2007. Some of them will say, oh, 2007 happened. Yeah, because the house was in crisis at the time.
Yeah, yes.
The best thing they could do is to stay away from a group purporting to be the legitimate group. Today, the repeat scene is not normal. It is not normal. The repeat scene today, and they are repeating it at a time they had a matter already resolved, not a matter pending before them. Because as far as we are concerned, that bit of information, in as much as they are silent, they are not going to talk to it. Now, so with that, and then their action is just sufficient enough to serve as answer to the bit of information that was filed before them. When they say all of the setting of these people were ultra virus, they couldn't have defeated themselves by going there. That's what it has shown. The question now we should be asking is, what's next? What's next for all of this? Now they've demonstrated that they are not in support. Whatever gathering down there is ultra virus. Is Bwaga will choose to do business with them, the judiciary would not do business with them. That's what it is. Now, and I understood throughout the budget hearing, they did not even call the judiciary to appear before them to give some. In fact, our whole budget hearing said it was just something that.
Now, from the meeting they were having, our friendship club they were having, that club meeting, Susu club meeting.
Yeah. So the clever attempt Oswald Twe and Kofi Wooden have been looking for is to say, look, let us invite Fonati, and if Fonati will be able to go there, then the judiciary will understand that Fonati has already succumbed. So they decided to invite Fonati through Richie Kun for him to go to the police. You see the foolishness they did? Now, those were calculated attempts to have just indicated that, look, this man has already succumbed. But thank God, as God will have it, nothing has happened. The very Sona for which they elevated the whole fight, torturing people, the same fear they had. The reason they were torturing those guys, they didn't get no case. They just wanted to intimidate the lawmakers so that they don't do anything. They thought that it was going to be, despite all the torturing, that why they brought the military outside. They brought the military outside because they thought that there are other lawmakers who have stay hard supporters that will come to obstruct whatever was happening. Well, man, they know the whole country. I don't know what to do now, but
you know, we're picking them. We used to be playing. We say, my man, I was just coming from the blank side. Yeah, I will blank you from the side. Yeah, that's what happened today. The attention was drawn to people that Dixon Sibo there, Fonatico there, Felix Afogo there, Ellis Noah there. They didn't see the Supreme Court attack.
Yeah, and that was the biggest attack.
Supreme Court took them. The Supreme Court took them by surprise, and that attack hit Joe Bwaga. It hit the government. Now, today a colleague of us shared a piece, and he started by asking the question, Austin, the president today is going to. We expect that the president will, one of our followers from France, from Paris, he said, today I expect that the president will announce measures that will be able to stabilize certain things within the sector, especially the NGO sector and the government, in line with the with the U.S. suspension, with the U.S. 90-day suspension of aid to foreign aids. I told him, man, let me tell you something. Joe Bwaga and this government, when they claim to be sophisticated, they're not sophisticated to that level to be able to sit down quickly and formulate a document or a program that will stick to the that will address the vacuum that the U.S. 90-day suspension will. So because mind you, 90-day we're talking 3 months. So that's the first quarter of the budget.
And just for review. That 90 days, they say after 90 days they will lift it. They are using 90 days for review.
So 90 days will represent the first quarter of your budget. But out of the in a statement mention budget support from the World Bank and the IMF. That's one. Two, Baka spoke about some health issues and all of that. The US is withdrawing from the World Health Organization. And you know, significant of that program comes to now. You say our issue is stop order, meaning nobody for the next 90 days. All USAID funded projects in Liberia are halted, and all employees of USAID will not go to work, are not going doing anything for the next 90 days. But I did not say anything about that today. Nothing is said for it. The Medellin Challenge Compact is going to be heavily dependent on the decision that will come out of the 90-day suspension, because they are reviewing to make a determination whether they will continue or they will scale down their support or they will scratch out some countries. Waka didn't say anything. Waka boasting of Medellin Challenge Compact when the US is announcing for the next 90-day suspension of foreign aid to review their progress and whether the US will still have the capacity to fund these deep billions of dollar projects across Africa or outside of the US. Waka is still bragging before the legislature about Medellin Challenge Compact. Where are Waka's economists? Where is the experience? Look at what Ghana is doing.
Very
Ghana, the Ghanaian love in the Ghanaian parliament, they are removing all US funded projects from our budget. Kenya is doing the same thing. Tanzania, where he's going, is doing the same thing. So East African countries and other African countries are removing all US funded projects from their annual plan, from their budget plan. They don't even say 30 days old. They say our annual budget plan, we are removing all US funded projects. Liberia, we're celebrating all US funded projects and US supports when they are announcing suspension. Speak to the fact that we have serious people presiding over our country. No.
Yeah. You know, I think Austin, the highlights are very essential for our people to hear them. And we are not saying it because we think we just want to say it, but we're trying to tell you that what we told you are all happening right before your own eyes. Yeah. There's nothing you can do about it, but you got to live with it. That's the consequential effect of being stubborn. And that's the dangerous thing about people who choose to put other people into problems that they did not create themselves. So I just feel sorry for other people who did not make this government, but no matter whether they made it or not, they will feel the consequences of the action taken by others. And this is where we are. Politics is what it is. So I want to say thanks to all of you. We'll get more of these kind of conversations, Austin. Sure. And let's just get a team few calls. And from the audience, just brief moment for the next 10 or 15 minutes. Then we'll wrap it up. Then we get going. So I will
follow from the backstage. My battery is 2%. So okay. I'll listen to the callers. Maybe
Thank you, Austin. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So okay, Austin's here, and of course Abu had to slip off because anyway, you will hear more from Abu. He has his own platform as well, and it will be great. We'll always do these collabos, and they are very essential as well. I want to say thanks. But let's get to the lines, just a minute each, and then we'll be able to close in. Hello, how are you doing? I do draws for you as well. Yeah, fine. Please go on. Let's listen to you.
Yeah, this is Edmond Carr, the visually impaired guy, keeping broadcast to the fire. And let me say thank you to Austin and Abu for coming on tonight. That was wonderful. This clearly shows to the Liberian people that there is a difficult time and more challenges ahead of us. Because that's why some of us don't believe in the leadership of Boakai, but when he is the president of the country, anything good that happens for the country are our benefit. But they cannot address that the president delivered today is quite disappointing because it lacks substance, it's completely empty, it has nothing in there for the Liberian people. What we predicted earlier, what would have happened, that what we saw happening today, everything he said is lie. So it was just go if he even serve President we are invitation, it was just good that he didn't even attend. Because how do I go on a platform where a president is addressing, talking about my project that he initiated, and you're not mentioning anything about he put his hands on. You're not saying anything that he initiated. But everything he says is about himself, what he's doing and what he's doing. So,
Edmore. Thank you. We can hear that, Edmore. I have to get going. Sorry. Hello, how you doing? Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Thank you, Ebi.
Yeah.
Let me say thanks to your guests, Austin and Abu. Ebi William David Wu, official spokesperson for the Liberation movement.
Yeah, go on quick.
Ebi Boaga is just a disgrace to the country. Because everything that is said today, there is nothing about Liberian that they allow to be improved, and like the people said. So-called, I call brand bottom, and these are issues in the both for President we are whatsoever, and Boaga is just a disgrace, and Liberian people will expect more, or I got disgracefulness in this country, and I will expect to this.
William W. Wulu, thank you. Let's call her. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, AB, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Please go on. Let's listen to you.
Thank you for having me, AB. My name is Victor P. Tabo, Commander New Sergeant Play. I do join you from Battery Factory to be precise, Dakwitan.
Let's hear from you.
AB, I just want to say this to the opposition that what they saw today, that's how it will be 2029. So they need to stand firm. And they need to have a brave political party that will be able to stand the talks of time. And I want to say this also to the AFL. AFL, you know that the international community is working hard and they're using you as a peacekeeping force into other countries. I want you to maintain your character. Thank you.
Thanks, boss, for your contribution. I appreciate that. And it's good you said that. Hello, how you doing? All right, so let me get on to the female line as well. We're certainly getting there tonight. And tomorrow we're going to be back here. Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, Ebi, really,
yeah, let's hear from you, man.
This is my one thing. Yeah, I want to tell you thank you. My son, Ebi, I just want to tell Liberian people thank you. That what went to that Joseph Boaga speed that he gave. I faith where he gave today. That last speed that he gave today because today they were wanting to kill people today. They were wanting to kill people today. Now they gave AFL gone, they gave people gone, they passing oil, right? I think it's Liberian coming to go there today. I want to tell them thank you that they stay away from Joseph Boaga wickedness and evil. God will pay them, God will punish Joseph Boaga AB. Let Joseph Boaga go ahead. God get grace for him. Thank you.
Thanks, man, for your contribution. We appreciate that. Let me get on to the next call here. Hello?
AB.
Yep.
What's up, bro?
Fine, boss. Go on quickly. Let's listen to you.
My name is Eddie P. calling from Chicken Soup Factory, Memory Respondent Defending. Baby, I see any president in La Guerra can lie equal to Joseph Boaga. And he reduced reference to 2,000. Where? As what the public continue to laugh to all the day, you see the calamity people in La Guerra people brought up. And what people continue to be using our AFL this way. AFL, it's not necessary. No, they stay all in. Nobody should get up and fool you to get on the street. It's wrong. What the public continue to fool you all the day? And you see your educated people. It's wrong for you start doing the thing. Every time you're disgracing like bro, look at how the people continue to disgrace what's in the country. And we fear we want to say some words to the people, you want God. Now you tell the people that he didn't get it, Then the people will say, now the people already in the country. As soon as you're going to go out of the country, flying private jet, you say to your greater person, where you do it today. Maybe so now you my problem. It will not be getting a person wants to get me here.
Well, what did the world do? Nothing will change. Just leave that one there, RDP. I beg you. Hello, how you doing? Just few calls. I know all of you could be thinking the same way. Hello, how you doing? And we have to get going. You know, it's not easy. Tomorrow we're going to be back here. With God, all things are possible. Hello?
Yeah, hello, Chiri.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Jesus Emmanuel, Richardson, and I joined a conversation from Central Morovia.
Yeah, Rich, go on.
Yeah, thank you. I listened to President Boaga, and honestly, today it was just waste of time because everything that President Boaga said today, it was so myth. But the population even just he referring our rule. The very rule that he and other people criticize. Today, he want to take glory for it. Everything he talking about today is just an old project. Yeah, he did not announce any new project on his own.
No.
1 whole year. They probably just wait 1 year private jail all around here. You enjoying yourself here and your family, and then you come in and lie to the people that will rent up. Where you can find rent for 2,000 naira, President Waka. Where? No, I think we need to stand up because what I saw in time today is a tower extent. These people are putting themselves together for 2029. We need to stand up and make President Waka to understand that the country belongs to all. Or you can't get here from people passing around with gunpoint fear in people like we are fighting war. We are not fighting war. These guys, they have intent, and the intent is for 2029. We need to stand up and make them to understand this country belongs to all. The Liberian people are suffering. They owe me on private jet. Go. You finish talking all in Lalatine. You don't leave all here. You run away. You go.
All right, Richardson. Thank you. You're right about that. Thank you, Richardson. We can wait you at that. Let me get on to this one. We'll certainly get there. I'll soon be flying. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, Eddie.
Yep. Let's hear from you, please. Hello. Okay. Sorry, I missed out on you. I think that's it. We've said a lot, and we want to say thanks to all of you for the time tonight. You know, these assessments, when we've done them, we just get going. Hello, how are you doing? Yeah, fine. Please go on quickly. Yeah, please go on.
God will continue to show to Liberian people that really President Joseph not back and work for the country. You see, today they don't call today. The past administration and they talk about President John Smart were not having experience, but you could see Madam dressing or Yefu, all of them will go and sit down around the table. That is show to the international community that Nigerian people we are really together. And United Party people made the government to be a government. It's not about like one government. So this is the visual today. Opposition will not see even the major opposition leader, the President John Mahama, we have to even show that economical stand to the international community that we are working together. No sign of coordination. Today, the government for you want people to do what you want. So for me, really, I'm very disappointed today. The government, the experience as a targeted party, really, we should international community will really focus the government to invest some money for investment. Every day they get here. Today, you fail to report it like one people. How many jobs people back for like one people? You yes, anything because yes, in the country, each of like one people.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So thanks to all of you for the time. Tomorrow we'll got more critique on all of these things, but let's just go and rest out ourselves and then we get ready. We'll be right back. And don't worry. Tomorrow we'll have more of these kind of conversations. And it will be your time to talk more about what you know. So just keep listening, keep following, and so forth. Will be cutting in bit and pieces, and so forth will be very good for you. And Israel boy, we are serious going to be here in the morning, followed by my own big boss Sam Andrews on tomorrow as well. Thanks so much to all of you for the time, but we will go into it on tomorrow as well, right here on this very day. Do have a pleasant night. Bye-bye.